So before we get started, my house got haunted a few weeks ago because my stupid self has to play the Ouija board at my house, and we had contacted Zozo. And I was scared because I had read of him, and I told my friends to stop playing. They said no, this is fun, just don't take your hands off or that will be a problem and you will get haunted. I asked them if I could look through the board game piece, and they said ask it. I said politely, "Can I look through the game board piece?" It said yes. I looked through it and I saw a man standing next to one of my friends. And I stayed quiet and I started crying. And I told him, he said he felt a cold breeze. And I said that it wasn't Zozo. It was a different man, but we didn't ask the name. We said goodbye, and then weird things started happening. So last week was fun until it came to the night I was pissed because I thought one of my friends was trying to scare me, but they were dead asleep, like they wouldn't wake up because they were literally tired that they can sleep for 24 hours. But I was the only one awake. I decided to just lay awake with my eyes open and then I heard someone laughing coming from somewhere in the house. I got freaked out and I looked around my house. I didn't find anyone, but one door was wide open. I closed it and I went back to my bed. My friends were still asleep. I let her awake because I wasn't tired at all. I heard that same noise again. Instead, it was a little girl laughing. I got so scared this time because someone started scratching my door. I didn't want to tell my friends because they would say I was crazy, that I needed some rest. I hear someone breathing next to me. I heard I heard someone breathing next to me. Then I stayed under my blankets, and then it went away. Number 2. Okay, so me and a friend were sleeping over at his house. His parents were not home, so it was us and his 6-year-old twin brothers. So eventually the twins went to sleep upstairs with their door open. So in the kitchen, we were fooling around when we heard things around the house moving. We were a bit creeped out, but nothing too serious. So eventually we went downstairs to his room and played on his Xbox. All of the lights in the house were turned off, and we were alone downstairs and the boys asleep upstairs. Then the thumping started around the house and abruptly stopped. For the next hour, nothing else, but around 2 a.m. we heard a huge slam and a glass break and smash and huge noises happened. We both looked at each other when we really pissed our pants. I did not know what to do, so I called the police. Then it hit me. The boys were asleep upstairs with the door wide open. We were so scared and the police showed up at the door and knocked. We were both terrified to go to the door because it was on the other side of the house. But we bolted and opened the door. The boys were fine, still asleep, but what caused the smash and glass break is someone or some people threw huge rocks through the front window of his house, and the thumping was caused by BB bullet shots on the house. Number 3. This happened to my dad 4 years ago. Summers are usually very hot in India, and not everyone could afford air conditioning. So people usually slept on the roof of their houses, also called terrace. This was exciting for me and my family, as we loved sleeping under the stairs. It was like a fun family sleepover. One night, we all packed our blankets, pillows, and we went to sit on our beds on the terrace and fell asleep. But in the middle of the night, it started getting pretty cold and windy, so my mom woke me and my siblings up and asked us to get back inside the house. But my dad didn't want to leave because he enjoyed the cold climate, and wanted to stay back on the terrace. So we all left with my mom, and Dad was now on the terrace sleeping. I guess around 3 or 4 a.m., I'm not quite sure, my dad felt like someone was sitting by his feet. He opened his eyes and saw a huge woman who was in a white gown. He just sitting facing towards the other side. He thought it was my mom and said, "Hey, what are you doing back here?" But got no response back. It took him a while to realize that it wasn't my mom, because his eyes were still sleepy, and this woman was larger than what my mom was. He tried to push her with his leg, but she wouldn't move. He felt how strong she was, cause my dad himself was a big muscular guy, and he couldn't push her away. He yelled at the woman saying, "Leave," but she wouldn't respond. He said he yelled out a loud prayer and kicked her really hard, and she glided into the dark. This freaked my dad so bad that he came back sprinting into the house. I overheard him telling this to my mom the next morning, and that's how I found out about it. My parents never told us, obviously, because they didn't want to freak us out. My siblings to this day don't know about this incident. We still slept on a terrace a couple times after that incident, but never saw a ghost woman. Maybe it just came from my dad.